A guaranteed income for life strategy is essential to set up before you reach retirement. And here's the reason why. Okay, here's a graph of bear markets. Those are declines in the market when they went down from 1962 through actually 2025, but the last one was in 2022. Now, in the 40 years, almost 40 years from 1962 to 2000, which would be right in here, we had 6 bear markets. In this century, the 21st century, in just 25 years, we've had 6 bear markets. So before it was 6 bear markets in just under 40 years. Now we're at 25 years, or really basically over a 22-year period, and we had 6 bear markets. So the markets aren't quite as stable as they used to be. And why is that significant? Well, during these years, and let's suppose you started in your 20s investing in a 401k in 2000, and now here it is 25 years later, you don't care about any of these things. Why? Well, you're not going to retire anytime soon. And the market goes up and down. What do you care? If the market is down, you're putting money in every month, you're buying low, and you're just going to be fine. However, when you get to retirement and you start drawing that income down, you don't want any of this happening to you, because it can wipe out 5 to 10 years of income easily. See, if you're approaching retirement and you're getting a 27% drop in your portfolio, a 33% drop, a 25% drop, well, you don't have time to recover, because it takes 2 to 3 years to recover. And you're going to retire here pretty soon. So if you're sitting on $1 million and all of a sudden it goes down 27%, you've lost several years of income just like that. Now you hope and keep your fingers crossed that the market is going to recover, but at that point maybe you're just breaking even and now you're going to retire. And what happened is you just lost those last 2 or 3 years of growth, of income, because had the market not dropped, your account would have been higher. So you would have been able to retire with more income. And now you can't. You've lost that. Why? Because you had all your money at risk before retirement. And this is what typically happens with your typical financial advisor that's always going to keep your money fully in the market, stocks, bonds, whatever, because they're collecting a fee. And they can't afford for you to move any of that money out, because it's going to cost them to take a pay cut. So let's look at the other side of this coin. So let's break this down. Let's suppose you have $1 million portfolio, right? And right before you get ready to retire, you have a 30% drop in the market. Is that possible? Absolutely. Now you're down to $700,000. Well, your financial advisor and all the reports out there and the advice out there says you can take out 4% of your portfolio each year out in retirement, and every year give yourself a 3% pay raise. No matter what the market does, up, down, sideways, we'll handle it for you. We'll manage. Just take your money out and take that 3% pay raise. Well, if a 4% of $1 million is $40,000 and your account drops $300,000 in 1 year, you've just lost a little over 7 years of income like that. That's not a good thing. Why would you even want to risk that in the first place? But that's what most people are doing. Now, the average financial advisor isn't going to have a response for that. He'll say, well, look, there's risk in the market. We need to grow your account because you're drawing money out and it has to grow so you don't run out of money. And the reason they're taking 4% out is because all the studies say that if you take out more, you'll run out of money down the road. So look, we've got it covered. We'll work hard for you. Your interest is our interest. If you don't make money, we don't make money. And all that baloney and it doesn't guarantee you anything, and your money goes down. So do you want to put yourself in that situation? Well, let's look at this. This is your break-even chart. For instance, if the market drops 25%, you need 33% the next year just to break even. If it drops 40%, you need 66%. And if it drops 50%, you need to have 100% return. Well, how often does the market return over 30% in a year? Not very often. So we go back in 2008, from October 2007, 11 months later, or 13 months later, what do you have? You have a drop of 51.9%. Well, what if you wanted to retire that year in 08? Or what if you had retired in 07 and you took income out, plus your advisor fees came out, and then the next year it drops like that? Well, my account wasn't that risky. Well, what if it dropped 40%? Well, here we know from the previous chart that you need 100% return the next year to break even. 27, you didn't get it. In fact, in the next year, you had another downturn. Now the market ended up positive for the year. But if you're taking income in 2008 and 2009, you took it while the market was down. So here from February of 2020 to March of 2020, in just a month, the market went down like that. Well, it recovered and ended up higher for the year. But if you're taking out income that year and you took it out in those first 3 months, you were in a hole. And in 2022, it went down 25% from January 22nd, 2022 to October 2022. It went down 25% during that period of time. And let's look at the chart. Well, we have here a 25% drop. You need 33% the next year to recover. That didn't happen. Or a 33% drop that we were looking at is between 30 and 35. You need probably a 48 or 49% return. You know how extremely rare it is to get over 40%, or hardly ever happens in 1 year in the market. So if you're approaching retirement and you're getting that happening in your portfolio, or you have retired and you're having that happen as you're drawing it down, that's devastating. But that is what the average financial advisor is exposing their clients to. And they will not tell you that there's a better way. Look, I just want you to use your common sense. Just use your common sense. Ask yourself, does it make any sense in the few years before retirement and during retirement to have my money at risk for 10, 20, 30, 40% loss in value as I get ready to retire and need all the money I have to retire, or after I retired, I'm taking my money out? It makes no sense whatsoever, folks. I don't know how anybody can convince you it does. Makes sense to keep all of that money exposed in the market. When you can establish what I like to call a personal pension plan, you can move some of that money out of your portfolio, a good portion, and you can create a guaranteed income stream that will keep up and in some cases even surpass inflation for the rest of your life, no matter how long you and your spouse live. And no matter what happens in the market, up, down, sideways, it could crash 50%. What do you care? You're going to still get that income paid out every single month for the rest of your life with pay raises. And you don't have to worry about a thing. You can keep some in the market. When the market is doing well, gangbusters, you can take some money out and do whatever you want. When the market tanks, what do you care? You've got a guaranteed income stream that nothing can touch. And that's the way you ought to be planning for retirement, in my opinion. At least look into it to see how it can work for you. This is Victor Cuevas, Victor for Advice. And if you want to learn more about this, let me know. God bless.